Hello and welcome everybody to All the Rage Sports. With me, as always, is my lovely panel of analysts, Andy Stewart, out in the dark, and Chase
Bar,
Jones.
baby.
So how we doing today, boys?
All right, tired. We're going late tonight.
We are going pretty late tonight.
I mean, you didn't even introduce me or say my name, so.
I did. I said
did.
Jace Junk. You obviously just don't listen.
Jace hates you already.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just started.
So yeah, today we're going to do a little talking about college football. We had a lot of news coming about from college football. We're going to touch a little bit on the NFL. There's not a whole lot of news going on because right now this typically would be preseason, and well, there's no preseason, so it's kind of in a limbo until season starts right now. We're going to go into the NBA. Their playoffs are about to be decided and get started. I think there's only one more preliminary game. I think game 8 is coming up for some of the teams. The Eastern Conference has been decided. There's still stuff in the West to be decided. So we'll dig into that. NHL playoffs just started the first round. A few teams have played their first game. A few have not yet. There was a pretty sick 5 overtime game between Columbus and Tampa Bay that we're going to dig into. That was just, the numbers from that game were just insane.
Those poor fuckers.
Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. So we're going to dig into that. And then Jason, you guys have some big golf news with what major was played.
PGA Championship.
PGA Championship was played. So we'll talk about that and then, send it out to you guys. But all that and more coming on All the Rage Sports. Finger guns.
Finger guns.
Always. All right, so let's start off with the college football. The big news. We have the Big Ten, I believe, is canceled their season.
Yes, it is.
And what was the other conference?
Pac-12.
Pac-12. Thank you. So, I mean, what does this mean for, those seniors getting ready to come out? What does that mean for the teams? What does it mean for, what does this mean? This is crazy.
That's the thing. Nobody really knows right now. I mean,
yeah. I mean, all the coaches are going fucking nuts. I think the coaches care more than the players, which I mean that's I don't know why, but I don't. But they seem like they're all like there's me and Jace were talking about Nebraska and Ohio State. They're threatening to leave their conference so that they can go actually play football, and just a bunch of crazy shit's happening, and it's gonna be funny to see how it pans out.
What it boils down to for me, like I said, it's either the conferences that think they can still get TV rights and make a bunch of money without fans, they're going to go ahead and play. But your smaller conferences, your MAC, your Sun Belt, all those, smaller in-betweeners, they're going to cancel everything. You're going to have no college basketball this fall again. You're not going to have literally anything. But you're going to have essentially college football, and I think just because of so many conferences, I know I'm looking way ahead. I know college basketball usually doesn't start until late, but there's no way that it's even feasible right now. We're going to go 2 years without having March Madness already.
Yeah. It's crazy, too, because the NFL is even talking about adjusting their offseason for spring college football, which the season starting on time, unlike some of the other sports who are literally going to run into the start of next season now. But it sounds to me like they're basically planning for next year's offseason to be more of a circus act already in the NFL. NFL kind of was the only one of the major sports that really didn't need to do a ton for COVID because they were already done by the time it started. And now it's the late game for them. So they're kind of the late bloomers on this. Other sports like NBA and the NHL, literally next month would have been the start of the NHL season. And I believe the same with NBA. So
right around this time, yeah.
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 So NFL is one of the few things I think they're already looking ahead and going, now we're going to have to make accommodations because of college football shutting that stuff down. I feel bad for the seniors. I feel bad for the guys who have played 3 years behind somebody, and then that guy graduated, and they're finally able to start and try to build their draft stock up, and now they're not gonna. What's that going to do to the NFL draft now when you're looking at these players who the only tape you're going to have on them is being a backup, being the third string guy.
Yeah, I mean, you feel bad for these guys. They've worked their entire lives. I mean, every single one of them. Doesn't matter if it's a freshman. All these guys are essentially here, depending on, do they just let them finish out school and then they can play the following year, or what are they really going to do? But yeah, essentially what it boils down to is the NCAA's never really given a fuck about the players or monetarily or their health or in any way, shape, or form really. So if you really want to go out and risk it to put on and look good for the NFL scouts, then go right on ahead. But honestly, a lot of these guys that are going to graduate and just take their degrees and aren't going to go to the NFL, or is the CFL even around? Is that
I don't know.
That shit down? Is that still a thing?
No clue. I mean, The Rock owns the XFL now.
Yeah, well, the XFL will be back at some point. God.
Yeah, now it's going to be hardcore because The Rock is back.
Steel chairs for everybody. But yeah. What it boils down to is like a lot of these kids, is it worth it for them to play?
Yeah. Yeah, like if you were a late round pick, if you would have left last year and you were a late round pick, it's not seeming like it's worth it for you to stay another extra year or whatever they would do to play the game to be a late round pick.
But not only that, if like college football gets if it ends up that it's end all be all canceled, and like they do have the NFL draft, like you only have tape on these guys as like sophomores and juniors, and they haven't played football for a fucking year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're kind of taking shots in the dark, and which that'll kind of make it interesting.
And I think that it'll also just sheerly cut down on the numbers. You're going to see, those sophomores that are eligible not come out then. They're going to stay another year because they want to play. And then, so your talent pool is going to drastically decrease. It's going to be like, how are they going to fill 7 rounds?
Yeah. Because you don't know. Yeah, you have no. You're taking shots in the dark, literally. And I'm sure there's going to be like 3rd, 4th round guys going in the 1st round, and even more so.
It's going to be the year where like some 7th rounder that should have gone in the 1st round is going to blow up on the scene on a contract that's $300,000.
The Raiders are like built for this shit though, because they'll just take a fucking random shot in the dark, a fucking kicker or something.
Gruden will be like, I watched this guy in high school. I knew his coach.
Yeah,
like,
I know his mom.
Yeah.
This is essentially, if it turns out the way we're thinking, it's going to be basically the supplemental draft.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, this guy, maybe. Otherwise, fuck it. Who gives who cares?
There's going to be a lot of walk-ons, free agency-wise.
We should all start working out.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. I think we should just start doing our 40 drills, the rope thing, because I think that's supposed to be something, that works out muscles or something.
You would tear every muscle in your shoulder.
Every ligament. All of my cartilage would be gone in my elbows. Somehow I'd break my neck.
Done.
Jace, where'd you go to gunsmithing school at? Because I think it would be hilarious, like if you're at like a fucking combine, like American Gunsmithing Institute's standout star.
Yeah.
Chase
Pennsylvania
Junk,
Gunsmith School.
UPI,
Yeah.
Triangle Tech.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think they would bring that up. It's not like I played golf there, you know.
out of Triangle Tech.
Carly would come out and be like,
HVAC specialist.
Votech, car
Yeah.
body mechanic.
Yep.
Yeah. All the more impressive.
Yeah, right?
Venango County Votech.
It's going to be nuts, though, at how many players are going to get chances at starting roles because of the opt-outs. And I was surprised there wasn't a giant, like a huge named guy that, you know, took the opt-out, like a multi-million-dollar contract type of dude.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about colleges. Like,
No. Yeah, I'm
talking
talking NFL opt-out now.
Yeah, I actually am too.
I'm very surprised that didn't happen. I'm still very surprised that James Conner didn't. And some of the other people that have, like, you know, survived cancers and other, because that is what the one lineman Cannon, Marcus Cannon, I believe, reason he did it, because he was a Hodgkin's lymphoma survivor.
I still don't understand. I think he was like, I think it was, what did they say? An involuntary holdout where the team had just basically said, yeah, it's not worth it for you to even go out and risk it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was like the team physicians or like their own personal doctor.
Yeah, it may have been something where they advised him against it. Kind of
a little bit of both, yeah. Who was that safety for the Chiefs that had cancer?
Eric Berry.
Eric Berry, yeah.
I don't even know where is he still with the Chiefs? I was going to say, I didn't think he was with them anymore.
I do not know where he's at.
Yeah.
I believe he's a free agent.
Well, anyway, so it's going to do some deep impacting with college football on what is going to happen to the NFL. NFL-wise, there's not a ton of news. Everson Griffin just joined Dallas just a moment ago. Definitely a good pickup. There is progress towards George Kittle getting a long-term contract. Hasn't been done yet, but they say that there is a lot of progress trending in the direction of getting a long-term deal put together for him. Right now, he's the best tight end in the league. You're going to argue with Kelsey, but Kittle's got the age and the youth factor. You're going to argue Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews only had one good year so far. And then obviously Gronk's back, but Gronk's bones,
Gronk is the $1 million man. He's
bionic.
Yeah.
Darren Waller.
And Darren Waller's also coming up as well.
He's in the top 10, top 7.
I think we're seeing a resurgence, though, because, like, I remember the days when it was, Gronk, Jimmy Graham, Greg Olson was huge. You know, those days.
Machine.
Todd Heath, Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates. Algie Crumpler.
Yeah, we had like a huge
Crump.
We had like a drop off for a while where it was like Jimmy Graham and Gronk were the last two. Then when Jimmy Graham fell off, it was just Gronk. He was it was him and Travis Kelce were pretty much the only two tight ends.
Yeah.
And then
Travis Kelce was gone.
Then Gronk did his little thing with injuries, and now we're finally seeing the resurgence of those receiving tight ends.
Austin Hooper, he's up there.
Yeah.
We'll see. He's in Cleveland now.
Well, hey, you know what? Cleveland, like the conversations we had with Uncle Lonnie there, Cleveland does, if they can stay disciplined, they can look really good this year.
Yeah.
So,
they can.
Well, let's move on over to the NBA side. I believe that there was, 8-round seeding. They did a 8-game seeding qualification type of thing. In the bubble. Eastern Conference has decided. They have the Bucks, Toronto, Boston, Miami, the Indiana Pacers, the 76ers, the Brooklyn Nets, and Orlando Magic. In that order, those are your seeds. So it's going to be Milwaukee Bucks versus Orlando in the first round, Miami Heat versus the Pacers, the Boston Celtics versus the 76ers, and Toronto versus the Brooklyn Nets.
Do we know how many games they're playing? Is it 5?
So I want to say the first round, if I'm not mistaken, is a best out of 5. Let me double check that.
Did you just hold up 3 and then say 5?
I tried to do it, but I was holding.
But you went like that.
I went like this because I was holding something. I don't see where it's telling me that, but I believe that's the case. It's a round of 5. Now the Western Conference, on the other hand, the 8th seed is the only thing that's not decided.
It's pretty much decided, though.
I mean, it pretty much is. Portland has a pretty good hold on it.
81%.
Yeah. The Phoenix Suns have a very low chance, even though they've won every game in the bubble right now. They're on fucking fire. They still may not make it.
Yeah. I think they had a 12%, and then the other 2 had 4s.
Yeah. Memphis has a possibility, but they have only won 1 game in the bubble right now. So they are really down. I think Portland beat Oklahoma City on a late game, just like nearly half-court three-pointer from Lillard. Just drained it over Paul. Was it Paul? No, it wasn't Paul George. Maybe it was the Clippers they played over Paul George. Maybe that was it.
Well, did you see all that shit between...
They were having arguments back and forth.
Oh, my God.
They were going at it.
Yeah, I'm a huge Damian Lillard fan now. I mean, not that I wasn't before, but he's like, fuck you guys, pretty much.
Yeah.
I need a Jimmy Butler jersey.
JB.
So just goes on Instagram, talks shit, and will just absolutely just lock you down and tell you about it.
Yeah.
Fucking man.
I'm glad to see he's back, because there was like those few years didn't he get injured a few years back, and then when he left the Bulls,
Chicago,
he kind of like
became toxic.
Yeah, and then he kind of hopped around a few teams, and it's like
from Chicago to the Grizzlies, or no, not to the Grizzlies, to the Timberwolves, and then to the Sixers, and then now.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see him, because I've always been a Jimmy Butler fan.
Me too.
And I'm just happy to see him actually, get back to him. Like,
yeah,
I
did you
feel
see him
like
losing his shit on the sideline the other night? I forget who it was that hit a shot, but he was just fucking screaming and jumping around and shit. It's good to see him like that, not all pissed off all the time.
I mean, the real question is, though, is it going to be anybody but Milwaukee and the Lakers at the end of this?
Clippers have a chance.
Yeah, you get the Clippers coming out.
Houston.
Don't sleep on the Raptors coming out of the West.
I was thinking about the Raptors, too. Even without Leonard there, they've really, they have a deep, good team that they've drafted.
Yeah.
I really don't have that much faith in the Celtics. The Heat or the Pacers, I could see. If TJ Warren keeps playing like he has been for the Pacers.
Yeah, what the fuck was that, dude? He was just coming out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. What was it, 39 points or something like that?
Everybody spent their quarantine doing something different. TJ Warren spent his quarantine becoming Kawhi Leonard.
That's all he did. Watch Kawhi Leonard highlights.
Yeah, it's insane.
I will be honest.
I feel like the Eastern Conference is pretty weak compared to the West right now, though.
That's how it's always been.
Yeah, it is always that way.
Yeah, Lakers, Clippers. I really don't think the Nuggets are anything to be scared of. The Rockets with that small ball lineup, man. The Thunder started out hot in the bubble, but they've trailed off. I'd pretty much rate the Jazz, Mavericks, and the Trailblazers out of it, even though I do love Dame, but I don't think they're going to win it. If the Suns,
I'm surprised the Mavericks are, their lineup looks so good.
It does.
And it's just,
Porzingis,
it looks so
Luka.
good. With Porzingis and Luka, I love that team. It's just they don't seem to be putting it together.
I miss Dirk Nowitzki. I was
Yeah.
a fucking huge Dirk Nowitzki fan. That big German.
Porzingis is essentially like the poor man's Dirk.
Yeah.
Skinny, taller Dirk.
Yeah.
More injury prone Dirk.
Yeah. Needs the hair and the beard.
Dirk just sitting on the sideline eating sauerkraut, fucking ready to rip.
It's sad. I really wanted to see the Suns go in because I like Devin Booker a lot, and I know that guy has been through so much shit in his career already, just being with the Suns, and he stuck it out this long. And I would have loved to see them at least make it in.
Did you see fucking what Draymond Green said on NBA Live the other night? He got fucking hit with tampering because he was talking to the camera, telling Devin Booker to get the fuck out of Phoenix. So they fucking fined him and did all this shit because it was considered tampering.
Telling a guy you should leave this team and get to a good team and then win some championships.
The worst thing going for Devin Booker is that he's on the Phoenix Suns. My boy needs to get the hell out of Phoenix, and he just went on this spiel, and everybody was just like all the other guys, like I think Shaq was on set.
Oh, is it Charles?
It was Draymond Green, and yeah, but they just both kind of sat there like, I don't think you're allowed to fucking do that, man. Just kind of an awkward silence after that.
Well, I mean, it's true. The guy's a great player, and he would go somewhere else. He's a big fish in a small pond right now.
I was gonna say I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. Like I get down. I hope
Phoenix is one of those in between teams. They're not a huge market team.
No.
So they've had their moments.
There forever.
Yeah, when they had Steve Nash there.
Amari Stoudemire, fucking Stephon Marbury. He was a Knick, wasn't he?
Oh, I thought
for a while maybe.
I thought he was with Steve Nash for some reason.
Amari Stoudemire, fucking Sean Marion.
Sean Marion, that's what I'm thinking of.
The Matrix.
Yeah, but like they had a good team at one point. And they drafted Shaq, did they not? Or was it Orlando?
Orlando drafted
Shaq, but Shaq played for the Suns at one point. I know that.
Yeah, that was right at the end of Steve Nash's career in Phoenix.
Yeah, Shaq played he went from Orlando to the Lakers to the Heat, then to the Suns, Celtics, and there might have been one more in there.
Yeah.
I didn't know he went to the Celtics.
He wasn't there very long. He was pretty much done by then.
Yeah, I was going to say, he bounced around pretty much right at the end a lot. I don't think the guy could jump after that point. His knees were like out of cartilage at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing this playoffs actually play out. Like we were talking earlier, the NBA would basically be starting the next season right about now, or coming up, I think, in September. And that's the same with the NHL, where the NHL would be at the end of this month in their preseason and then starting in September. So let's move over to the NHL real quick. First off, I want to talk about the draft. The Rangers did win the draft overall number 1 pick.
Fixed.
Yeah, they kind of did like.
Boo.
I don't like how they did it.
Sketchy
But what else are you gonna do? Yeah, it was. It really was.
New York's a big market too, so.
Yeah.
Especially the Rangers. Fuck the Islanders.
Well, now the Ottawa Senators, because the San Jose Sharks got the 3rd pick, the Senators got the 5th pick, and the Senators have the Sharks pick. So in the top 5, Senators have 2 of them, 3 and 5.
Is that for the Erik Karlsson deal?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are all set up there, and then the Hurricanes moved into 13th from the Maple Leafs, and then Pittsburgh's at 15. It says optional to Minnesota. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I can't think of the trade that they did that would have given Minnesota. So
Jason
Zucker, that's right. I'm reading it right here. Zucker on February 10th has 7 days following the lottery to decide if they want to send the 15th pick to the Wild or keep the pick and send their 2021 first round pick. So they basically get to pick either this year or next year, and it's their discretion.
Send it.
At this point,
Pick 15th in the draft, send it. Fuck it.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. You send that there, and then next year, well, the problem is I think next year might even I think there's going to be a blow up on that roster because this is like the second or third year in a row they had an early exit. So they're pissed. It may be time for Sullivan out. It's probably time for Murray out because Matt Murray is.
Between Malkin and Letang, one of them are going to be gone.
You think?
Yeah.
See, I don't see Crosby. I don't see Malkin. I don't see Letang ever leaving.
They were talking about it on the Fan the other day, and
they talk about it every year. There was last year they were talking about trading Malkin. Like, I get it. He goes through spurts where he doesn't seem to put effort in.
He is productive,
yeah, and he goes through unproductive spurts. And you don't get it with Crosby. Crosby is always at a steady production. But I don't know what it was like getting Connor Sheary back. Connor Sheary has never been a good wing. He just played well with Crosby because he was in the right place at the right time for Crosby.
He was. I disagree. He was fine until they started pronouncing his last name differently.
That's true. That's it.
That's what did it. Off his mojo.
When it was Connor Sheary, he was great.
It took his mojo.
They named him Connor Sheary, or pronounced his name, I guess, correctly. Who cares?
Yeah, right.
Stupid, but
Sheary.
Well, so that's the draft order. The draft actually will be taking place on October 9th and 10th, when obviously it normally would take place in June. So this is what I'm coming to again. How are these teams going to do this when this year's playoffs are running into when next year's season starts? Are they going to end the playoffs and immediately go into the regular season? Are we essentially skipping next season? Like, what is the plan here?
I would hope, for like the players' sake, that they go through the playoffs and they hold off until next season. For the players' sake, I mean,
it's going to be almost 10 months in between.
Yeah, I know, and it's fucking. They play a lot of hockey in a hockey season.
Yeah, 82 friggin' games.
Yeah.
And they're cramming these games right at the end here. I don't know. It feels like to me that they rushed this back to finish this season, and now they're taking it away from next season. Because then you can't go off and just start the season late and then run into the same problem in the off season.
Obviously, you can't.
Well, that's true. But I'm saying, like, if they wanted to do the season, it would almost have to be like maybe a month after the Stanley Cup's done, and then start the new season, because you're already going to be like 3 months behind by that point.
Yeah.
And then that's going to put you into the end of its season. Maybe shorten the season. That might be the big answer.
Two short seasons, though.
I mean, they've done it before when they've had strikes.
Yeah, but
the NHL's done it a couple times where they've had shortened seasons. What was the
workaround? Obviously, the scheduling and everything was different, but they've had to work around strikes. They've had to work around fucking world wars and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they'll figure it out, but just in today's day and age with TV contracts and revenue and the way players are scouted in every sport and this and that, I mean, it's going to be a problem across every single major sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, like I was saying earlier, it almost like the NFL is probably the least affected because it happened during their off season. But these other sports that were, winter and spring sports, they were screwed.
Oh yeah, they got fucked.
Yeah, they got the shot big time.
But I was talking to a guy at work the other day about like the Penguins exiting early, and he gave me the hubbub of, oh, this season doesn't even matter. This doesn't even count. There's gonna be an asterisk beside this season anyhow, and it's just like, I mean, you're
Yeah,
still a
but if
Stanley
we would
Cup
have won the
champion.
playoffs and won the cup, there. Oh no, this is good. We wouldn't put an
That's
asterisk by it.
exactly what I said.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I don't agree with that.
I
The
don't
teams, the only thing that was taken away from these teams is crowd noise and that kind of momentum. That's the only thing that was taken away from them. The Penguins actually made out because they got Getzel back, and they wouldn't have had him back. Like, they wouldn't have had him back before the end of the playoffs.
Worked out real well for us too.
Yeah, really. But yeah, no, I like that they're doing it. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen for next season. And that's the only thing I can think of is maybe cut it down to 48 games or 52 games or something and try to end it around the same time it normally would end to kind of reset the cycle. But that's obviously a year from now that we'll see that. But the playoffs did start for them. The schedule right now is going in the Western. It's the Vegas Knights against the Blackhawks, Colorado Avalanche against the Phoenix Coyotes, Dallas Stars against Calgary Flames, the St. Louis Blues against Vancouver. In the Eastern, it's Carolina Hurricanes against Boston Bruins, the Capitals against the Islanders, the Columbus Blue Jackets against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Flyers against Montreal Canadiens. And then the game I want to obviously talk about right now is the Tampa Bay and Columbus game 1. The game was a 5 overtime game, which means nearly 3 games were played essentially in one sitting. It was one 20-minute period away from being 3 games, which is absolutely bonkers.
You're just pissed off, dragging yourself back to the locker room, being like, "Motherfucker, somebody put one in."
Yeah.
Could you imagine losing that game after you just went through all of that? Like,
motherfucker.
You know what's the worst thing? That game was 90 minutes and 27 seconds long. That was the 4th longest game in NHL history.
There's a Penguins Flyers game or something that's way up.
I remember that one. Peter Sikora scored the game-winning goal after he, in I think the second or third overtime, said he was going to go out and score, and it took 2 more overtime periods before he did. But he did score the goal. I remember that one specifically. What's that?
I don't think it was Sikora. I think it was before that.
I think it was Sikora. But yeah, so it was 10 minutes and 27 seconds into that 5th overtime. And the Tampa Bay Lightning won that. Now, I was telling you guys some stats on that, and I just want to do a little recap here and just break it down for you. So there was, where was I? Team stats, here we are. So the Blue Jackets had 63 shots on goal, and the Tampa Bay Lightning blocked 30. So that means 93 shots were attempted in that game. Just stupid. But then it gets worse. The Tampa Bay Lightning had 88 shots on goal.
It's unreal.
And the Columbus Blue Jackets blocked 62 shots, meaning Tampa Bay Lightning attempted 150 shots in that game. That is absurd.
That's fast hockey there.
Yeah. Um,
Like I said, that's going to be inflated by at the end of the game. Dudes just throwing everything.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Being like pucks on net, lucky bounce, something just trickle in.
Yeah.
I'm
God,
going
let
to
it be
probably
over.
butcher this name, but the Blue Jackets goalie Corpusalo had 85 saves, which I believe is now a record for
That has to be.
most saves
Yes,
in a
it is.
playoff game. And then also Seth Jones, defenseman for the Blue Jackets, had 65 total minutes on ice. There was 25 minutes of that 5 overtime game where he wasn't on the ice. Talk about fucking
crazy.
Iron Man. Like, holy hell.
Have no faith in your other defenseman.
He's still asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in
His
a small
ankles are
coma.
broken. Yeah.
Like,
Like, don't
man.
wake me up until we have to go warm up for the fucking next.
yeah. It is. It's absolute bonkers.
Drank 2 bottles of ZQuil and he's fucking
Gone.
done for the next 3 days.
Recovery mode.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that game was absurd. That was, I mean, it was awesome. It just was absolutely nut bar. There was a goal scored 23 seconds into the third to tie it. And then from there on out, it was no goals for the next like
2 games.
60 minutes. So
Unreal.
that brings the Lightning up 1 on the Blue Jackets. I think this playoffs is going to be very interesting. You're seeing a lot of teams that they're just, I don't know. I remember a time when there was, the thing I love about the NHL is you get a hierarchy where this is the dominant team, and it doesn't last forever. Teams rebuild quickly. You'll get a team that is picking first in the draft, and then 2 years later, they're in the playoffs. So that's the one thing I like about it. Like, I didn't expect Calgary to be here as quickly as they were. The Carolina Hurricanes had a humongous season, and they were in the bottom of the bottom like a year or two ago. So same with the Avalanche. They were not talked about at all, and they're up there at 2. I do like seeing that the Vegas Knights are still holding steadfast as their conference leader, and it makes me drastically regret the Penguins saving Murray over Fleury.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I think that all of us see it now and go, "Yep, they made the wrong decision," and it's literally going to haunt them for years now. So that's the breakdown of like the Stanley Cup playoffs. You want to go into your PGA? We had a major, the PGA Championship. So how did it go? What happened? Give us some updates.
Fucking mayhem happened. Like this leaderboard at one point, there was like I've never heard of that guy. It was, I mean, packed top to bottom. You had a lot of guys, first round leaders. Who was it? Zach Johnson was 4 under, 5 under at one point, almost leading the tournament. He ended up finishing like 4 over par. Martin Keimer was like 6 under, finished at like 8 over, missed the cut or something like that on day 2 or something. Like some absolutely ridiculous shit. But long story short,
he had like 3 drives into the water though on that second day. It was horrible.
Oh, all it was boxes on his front and back nines. Just he couldn't. It was either par or like double. There was no in between. Kind of like Jesse, but anyhow. Yeah, then you had on Sunday, you had a pretty packed, you had Koepka in with Paul Casey in the final group. Who else was up there?
Dude, if I could have bet an 11 under like 5-man playoff right at the end of that match, I would have fucking bet the house on it.
Oh yeah, there was a 5 or 6 man tie at one point.
Oh.
I mean, it was one of those things where you sat back and you went, unless somebody really steps up and rips a shot and does something to set themselves apart from the field, this one's going to go to a playoff. And then Colin Morikawa stepped up to the 16th tee, 296-yard par 4. So basically, he takes driver. He's hitting all of it. So he hit it a perfect fade, downhill, hit the green to about 6 feet, and then made the putt for eagle. And then I believe ended up winning by 2 strokes because whoever was behind him fell apart on 17 or 18. But yeah, this kid stepped up, had fucking brass balls. Like, I don't know how he was walking around. Like, I don't know how he putted and didn't get his massive dong in the way, like with his putter. Because I don't know how brave you have to be in contention on Sunday at a major and being 23 years old to go, you know what? I'm not going to lay up. I'm not going to hit 3-wood here and then just chip onto the green. We're going to hit fucking driver with all around and water on the right if you sail it way gone. And he hit to the right. He hit a left to right fade and dotted the green and then proceeded to pick up the trophy and drop the lid off of it when he celebrated.
And his caddy was actually pissed that he decided to hit driver because his caddy had his 3-wood out of his bag. Did you see that?
I actually didn't see that. I had just like come back from the bathroom or something, and I heard the tee shot, and then I just ran in the room because I had money all spread around on guys, and I was really, really hoping for a couple of guys to pull through, but it didn't end up happening because Morikawa kind of stuffed me at the end. But I was like, okay, I just need like one bad hole coming down the stretch, and he had 2 solid holes on 17 and 18. Didn't do anything wrong, but 16 he was spectacular. That's really all he needed.
Yeah, because I actually was at my mom's for like a cookout thing, and Jace texted me. He's like, "Are you fucking watching this?" And I was trying to listen to it on my way home, but my fucking fuck's it called? It kept freezing. Like my feed
You're
kept
buffering.
freezing.
Yeah, your
kept
stream.
fucking buffering and shit. So I walked in the house and I was like, "Holy fuck, we got ourselves a golf game."
Yeah, I
awesome.
was like texting all my friends that actually watch this shit. I was like, because everybody's kind of like, everybody was a little bit excited at first, and now everybody's stopped watching, even though we're getting into. This is the last week before the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup playoffs. They're only doing 2 tournaments this year, but yeah, we're right in the thick of things, and all the big boys are out and playing. Like, this is honestly, the FedEx Cup usually coincides with like the first or second week of football, so they're pretty much right on time for that. And then we're going to get into the U.S. Open, and then the Masters in the fall, which is being played with no fans.
It's going to be
patrons.
Well, here's the thing, though. Is there going to be just like random people standing on the course to find the balls?
Yeah, they'll have like volunteers and stuff, but and officials, but they won't. It's the same like they've done, like they just did for the PGA in Harding Park out in San Fran.
Yeah.
You'll have like guys out, being spotters and stuff like that, but no guests, no spectators, patrons, anything like that. I thought they were the famous pimento cheese sandwiches and just put a COVID vaccine in it because, a guy that they're so fucking stuck up and they love to be the first and cutting edge on all that shit. They're gonna be like, you know what? We're just gonna unveil this and not tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
Pull something out of their asses. But yeah, no fans, and it's honestly, in a way, like it's a very, very classic, old-fashioned course, and they don't like a lot of people around. So this is honestly like a wet dream for them. They're like, cool. We don't have to have all these random fucking people in here. Awesome.
Yeah, what wasn't Riggsy he was at all 4 days this weekend, wasn't
he? Yeah, he had a media pass, and essentially you just couldn't walk inside the ropes, but you could stand outside as long as you got tested and stuff. But yeah, he was living the fucking dream. He was just walking up and down the rough.
He walked the course with Kisner, didn't he?
Well, he
It
switched
was practice round.
I think it was Friday. Kisner, when he had his good round on Thursday, he went out and hit his tee shot on 10 or wherever he teed off, and I guess he turned straight around and looked at Riggs and was like, "Shouldn't you be following Tiger?"
That's fucking awesome.
No, really don't have anything as far as betting this week. I'm not going to get too far into it because this is kind of a weird tournament, weird course. A lot of like 128 player field, and your top players are Webb Simpson, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, Tommy Fleetwood, Paul Casey, Justin Rose, Abraham Ancer withdrew, and literally after that, it pretty much falls off.
JT Poston.
You got Shane Lowry, you got Spieth, you got Todd, you got Kisner, Neiman, and then after that, Lucas Glover's the last really notable guy. After that, it's gone. So some literally 80,000 to 1 long shot's going to come out and be in play on Sunday. Somebody's going to have a $1 bet for like $8,000 just sitting there with their fingers crossed, hoping this guy can make putts or some shit.
Yep. Is Rom not playing?
No, he played last week. He's sitting this one out, and then he'll play the next two for the FedEx Cup. But now I'm going to go back to Kiz this week. I'll throw one on him just because he has a little bit longer odds, and then everything literally points. If Webb Simpson doesn't win this tournament, the simulation's glitching. Yeah. Everybody in their right mind, the stats, everything lines up. This is the perfect course for him. So I'll probably throw like $20 on him, even though he's like a 10 to 1. You know, he's the favorite in the field.
Yeah.
And like a couple top 20s and just, Jim Furyk at probably like 80 or 800 to 1 or some bullshit.
Yeah. Put 2 bones on him and.
Yeah, see what happens. But that's all I got for golf.
That was perfect.
All right, man. I
have
like it.
Else.
Hey, so this was a shorter episode. We will be talking more. I mean, there's going to be so much stuff coming up. So this is really just kind of the preview episode. This is episode 1 of season 2. We are thankful for everybody that was there that stuck through season 1 with us. But we are getting ready to go on season 2, minus hopefully a delayed and canceled season because of COVID. Hopefully nothing happens crazy to where the NFL can't go or these other sports end up having to slow down or shut down. I think the NHL, and NBA have pretty much got it down to where they're going to be able to finish it out with no problems. But it's still yet to be seen what the NFL is going to run into. So
it's going to be a learning curve.
Oh yeah, big time learning curve. So just stay tuned week by week. We're going to have more news coming at you each week with what's changing, what's going on, and really breaking it down the best we can for you. As always, you can visit our webpage at All the Rage Sports at webley.com. You can visit our Facebook page, our Twitter, our Instagram, all of those. You can visit our host site at transistor.com. Search All the Rage Sports, and you can find us on Spotify and iTunes. Always, you can go and donate to our PayPal. We'd love it and appreciate it. And please send us your feedback. You can email us directly. Our email is on our webpage. It's alltheragesports@yahoo.com, or message us on Facebook. But get a hold of us. We'd love to talk more about what you want to hear and get your feedback. But as for Jace Junk, Andy Stewart, I'm Jesse Baden, your host. And remember, always rage on.